Hello and welcome everybody to the sixth edition of our Hedera Ecosystem Spotlight. Today we are joined by HBar to the Moon, Coinman the HBarbarian, and HederaDev to discuss all things community, as well as the past year and what exciting things lie ahead. And of course, I'm joined by Tudor as well. Take it away.
Thanks, Master Oogway, for the intro. We're also very excited to share this first spaces in the year with all of you guys. We have a lot. We have, as Master Oogway mentioned, awesome panelists here with us today, and we do this. We try to do the ecosystem spotlight episodes every couple of weeks. We did take it a bit slower over the past days from the Spotlight series perspective and the AMAs, but rest assured we've been working very hard over the holidays. We're just joking with the team here in the office today that we started off this first week of the year with a lot of work, and generally we do these series every 2 weeks. As I mentioned, we try to bring on different community members, different startups that are building in the Hedera space, and talk about some pressing and interesting subjects when it comes to the crypto markets, technology. But here today we will be celebrating community, and it's great that we have some of the leading community figures here with us today. Also, when it comes to the product, we have another HeadStarter AMA that we do in the off weeks, every couple weeks again, and those series is called HeadStarter Pulse. So we will be very excited to invite you all on Tuesday next week for the HeadStarter Pulse. We will be discussing over there the latest developments when it comes to the HeadStarter dApp and the HeadStarter technology that we're building. So make sure that you also stay tuned for that AMA as well. Let's get into the nick of things and get to know the panelists a bit better, although I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys already have interacted with them a lot, and maybe for some of you guys, you joined the community because of their inspiring tweets and messages. But I'd like to hear a bit more about the people behind the Twitter accounts. Would you like Coinman to go first and tell us a bit more about yourself, how you got here, and any information that probably we don't know so far?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Tudor. So I am basically just a retail investor that discovered Hashgraph. I was looking into gold around about summer of 2019, and someone put me onto Mike Maloney. A lot of people know Mike Maloney in the community, a big gold bug. And I just happened to come across his video on From Bitcoin to Hashgraph, I think it's called. It's part of a series, Hidden Secrets of Money. And I saw that documentary, and it just had me hooked. So I started to dig into Hedera a little, and this was just before open access. So the mainnet was live, but it wasn't public yet. And there was a sort of a test use case that they were running called the daily timestamp. And basically you could earn HBar by reading articles about Hashgraph, and it would, once you'd completed the article, it would pop some HBar in your wallet. And I was just transfixed really by how quick and easy the transaction was. And I dabbled a little bit in Bitcoin before that, so I knew that Bitcoin was slow, and HBar was just such a different proposition. So that had me hooked really. So I ended up aping into HBar big time on open access, and then I rode it all the way down to 1 cent in around about this time in 2020. And yeah, I've just stuck around ever since, because I do find the technology fascinating. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much for that. Obviously, I think that daily timestamp website brings back memories. For me, it was one of the first times that I really flooded the browser with scripts of opening up pages, new tabs. But yeah, it was great. And also I still have the old Hedera wallet on as a Chrome extension. So good memories there, Coinman.
Yes.
Let's go over to Milan. Milan, also known as HederaDev. Would you like to give us a brief intro about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Tudor. Hi, everyone. So my name is Milan, or also known as HederaDev. And I've been in the Hedera space since January 2021, so not since open access. Unfortunately, I do not have a 4-digit Hedera account ID. I don't even have a 5-digit account ID. Mine starts with 6 digits. So actually, I got into Hedera because I followed Bitcoin a little bit on a distance. I thought, just like a lot of people, that stuff doesn't make any sense and it's destroying the world and so on. And I had a chat with that with a friend of mine, and I told him, my problem is that I don't really see the utility, like the real life, real use application of Bitcoin and those others. And then he said, well, maybe Hedera is something for you. So I looked it up, and from that moment on, I was completely sold, because everything made sense, and for me, I cannot fool myself, just going to dive into a certain technology and then knowing at the same time that it doesn't make any sense, or that I can't really apply it to real life use cases. So when I dived into Hedera, I thought, wow, this in every single way it makes sense. So that was January 2021, and then I thought, okay, now I want to learn to code. And I tried, and it took me way too long. And my attention span is not long enough to learn to code for a few years and then trying to build apps. So I at a certain point I dropped that, and I thought, okay, well, I'm still learning about Hedera. I'll make this website which is called Hedera.dev. And I'll just, everything I read, what I think is interesting, and that I would like other people as well to read, I share it as a link depository. So I started making that, and that's why I also had the Twitter account. Every time I shared then the articles or the stuff that I found, and that way I got more and more in the community, via Telegram as well, the HBar, now currently HBar Lounge. And from that, every day I was involved with Hedera. This year I discovered no coding on Hedera, and that kind of took all my time away. So in regards to that, I'm also a big fan of no coding on Hedera, involved with Earthlings. Obviously, a lot of people know me as a core team member of Earthlings. I'm part of the Coinman team. And I've built HBar Vox as well, and that's completely built with no coding on Hedera. So for those people out there who think they cannot build anything on Hedera because they cannot code, don't fret. There is definitely a solution coming up very soon. That's all.
That's so exciting to hear. And obviously, Milan, although your Hedera account ID is high up there, I think that the contributions that you've been having to the space have been instrumental, and obviously you put a lot of effort into. Obviously your contributions are show.
Just jump in just to say, probably quite a few people don't quite know me as in publicly very much, but I'm more one of the guys who's a little bit on the behind the scenes, working on quite a lot of stuff. But
and we definitely know and appreciate that from the HeadStarter perspective as well. Over to last but not least, Hbar to the moon. I know that on Lunar Crush you kind of like have been keeping the #1 spot in terms of engagement as a Hedera influencer. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself as well, sir?
Yeah, sure, Tudor. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with Lunar Crush. I don't really pay attention too much to that stuff, but yeah, a little bit about myself. But before, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone. Last year was a great year, and I think 2023 is going to be even a greater year. We'll dive deeper into in terms of Hedera ecosystem later in this discussion. But I'm really happy to have this conversation with OG HBarbarians, including you, Tudor. We've been here right from the beginning, maybe a little later after a year or after 2 years, but all of us have seen the progress and evolution of this great network and all of the ecosystem being built around it. A little bit about myself. I'm an electrical engineer. My background is an electrical engineer. Currently, I'm full-time employed. I'm also a hardware manager at my company. But around like 2017, 2018, I got really interested in crypto. I was doing a lot of research into Bitcoin, Ethereum. Hedera didn't even exist at that time. Being an engineer and being very picky about stuff, I didn't really buy into what all these networks were promising, because the technology to me, when I dived deeper and did a research, technology to me didn't seem that enterprise grade, capable of scaling to worldwide adoption type of technology. So I kept looking, and I was hoping that some of these teams that get into blockchain industry will be able to crack the code and find this new consensus or some kind of upgrade to existing blockchain technology to make it even better. And I stumbled upon Swirls at the time. I found some videos of Dr. Lyman Baird. That was the breaking point for me. Just watching Dr. Lyman Baird's lectures and videos explaining clearly what consensus algorithms are, what the differences are between them, and really showing people under the hood what's going on with this blockchain technologies was very refreshing to me. And it's usually people who show what's under the hood are usually the people who are confident in what they have built, and they're ready to share it to the world. And other projects who try to really not talk about the technology much, but really hype and give hope to people that it's going to be great in the future, just give hopes. I try to stay away from those projects. And that's how I got into Hedera people, the technology, the governing model. And from then on, right when the public network was announced, I decided to create this account and just spread the word and promote the project, because I knew this type of a project, which is enterprise focused, and in crypto industry at the time, there was a lot of anarchy kind of mindset, no government, no structure, no regulations, which has not been a good experiment throughout the history. If you look at all kinds of different experiments with anarchistic types of structures and governments and communities, none of them have turned out to be okay. So I knew that there needs to be a governance, there needs to be a regulation, and the technology needs to be able to scale to millions of users. And I decided to spend my free time to educate people, give them insights, and maybe even a little bit of a speculation based on the understanding I have about this network. And here we are today. A community is so much bigger. There's so many more passionate accounts. I really love following new accounts. Whenever I see a new HBarbarians coming along and they're really passionate, I just follow them. I want to also see their journey throughout this community and ecosystem. But outside of just crypto and engineering, I just love, I have a lot of different interests. I love soccer, I love movies, I love I was really into stand-up comedy, funny enough, at some point. But I have a lot of different interests. But crypto right now is one of the main focuses in my career.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like you're staying very busy, Andy, and really interesting to hear about your past as well, and how early you got into everything, and what made you stay. And actually, after hearing more about you guys, which is fantastic to get an introduction, you also happened to answer our first question, which was how you found out about Hedera and what made you stay. So that was really interesting to hear. Glad you're all still here. And that puts me on to the next question, which is, how did you all end up becoming such influential characters in the space? Was that planned, or did it just happen? And we can start with Coinman.
Yeah, I think for me it's just sticking around really. I like to have a bit of banter in the Telegram groups. You know, that's my personality really, is I just like to have a bit of banter, and some of us OGs were sort of having a bit of back and forth, you know, making memes, making up puns, and eventually I came across, or it came into my mind, how about that old 80s film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian? And I thought, oh, how about HBarbarian? So I thought it was good, and I posted it in the Telegram group, and Rob Allen, who some people know as Sharky Rob, he was kind of egging me on, you know, and so I thought, okay, let's stick with this. So I changed my account to be Coinman the HBarbarian, and I just used the hashtag all the time, and just over time, through a war of attrition, people have kind of adopted it, and I think that's great really. My kind of vision for the term HBarbarian is it's just an umbrella term for anyone who loves HBar for whatever reason. You know, there's no dictates as to what a HBarbarian ought to be really. I just think it's a fun term for us all to sit under. So that's really how my influence grew, really, as being known as Coinman the HBarbarian. And I just love to post memes, and really I just love to keep things light really, because there's a lot of FUD storms that get chucked up every now and then, and people get, you know, very heated over price action and tokenomics, etc. And I just like to keep things light and keep people in the community, you know, feeling good about being part of the community. So I guess that's how my influence has grown, is just being kind of the court jester.
It's fascinating whenever something happens unwillingly and it ends up sticking and staying for the long term, because right now the HBarbarian term is used by everybody who's entering the community. And I remember that there was a time when there was kind of like it wasn't really clear cut what's the community name. Are we HBarbarians or are we Hederians? But I think
yeah there's still some people that say Hederians, but I'm kind of quietly pleased that HBarbarianism has grown over the months and years. I think it's great. You know, you want to call yourself a HBarian or Hederian, it doesn't really matter. But you know, for me, I think HBarbarian is a great term for us all to kind of sit under.
That's crazy, actually, as someone that's newer into the space. I had no idea that you coined that term, so that's actually really funny to hear. Thank you for that, Coinman.
Oh, there you go.
Milan, how about yourself?
Yeah, so that question, I mean, I personally don't really feel like I'm such an influential character, but at the same time, I think I'm there, and I have been there, and similar to what Coinman says, you know, you're sticking around, and it's not like, oh, okay, you know, marks are bad, so I'm leaving, or I can't stand it. No, you're still here and you're sticking around, and maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's the reason why people will see me that way. I don't know. And I think also that, well, personally, I really believe in, being open to anyone, and, for questions, if people ask me questions or any way that I can help out. I'm always very happy to help out, so much so that, I often forget that I I actually need to earn a living, because last year I decided to go all in Hedera, not as in investment, but on a intellectual level. So for example, with Earthlings, that I'm part of the project, and then sometimes people I get in contact with people who like to develop a POC. And then I'm helping them very much, but then I say I'm probably not the best person. You need that person, so don't pay me anything. Maybe, I don't know. That's my way of doing things, I think.
That's fantastic. So open to any questions, unless they're on Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. I mean, that's an inside joke, because Discord. I mean, I told Master Oogway yesterday that I feel like Discord has this hard cap on age. So once you're 29 and above, I'm in my early 30s, and once you're 29 and above, like, Discord automatically disqualifies you to properly function on that platform. I mean, I feel that way, and it's terrible. So Telegram is my thing, and more so. And I remember also Coinman, when we still had micro payments on Telegram. I mean, you were top of the list. You always were raking in those micro payments on Hbar, which was an excellent use case as well, by the way.
Actually, I'm very good at being second on the list, to be honest, because the Hbar ball was always ahead of me. So Brandon is
really?
the king of the Telegram micro payments, yeah. But I was second, yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's fantastic. Andy, how about yourself?
This is a really kind of a tricky question. How did you become an influencer? Probably the hardest question for someone who is successful at social media. But another funny story, I never liked social media before getting into Twitter and creating this Hbar to the Moon account. I was just so passionate about this project, and I really believed in it. And I just wanted to spread the word. I had no other intention. I never thought of myself as an influencer or influential. And I would just say that probably the best way to be influential is not to worry about being influential, because if being influential, if fame and things like that get into your head, it's going to affect your content and how you deliver. I have seen a lot of people starting great and delivering great content, and once they gain some traction and following, their content started changing, and their personality started to get ahead of themselves, thinking that they have achieved some success, and all of a sudden now their opinions matter way more than they did before. I really treat my account as if I have just 100 followers or 1,000 followers, same way as I had started day one. I try to not to forget what was the reason I started this account, and not turning into then eventually start pushing my own ideas and understandings of how things should be, especially getting into other topics and talking about. I try to keep this account specifically focused on Hbar and Hedera ecosystem. And I know some people from other communities get frustrated with me posting just about Hedera and Hbar and saying it's going to take over the world. And they say, why didn't you include our coin or this coin or that coin? The name of the account is Hbar to the Moon, so there you go. But yeah, influencer, like I completely agree with Coinman and HederaDev. Sticking around is the best way to gain traction. And how you stick around is when you really believe in whatever you're doing. when you think you're really giving value to people, and then you also get feedback from the community that the content you're creating is valuable for them. And if you don't have that belief, you can have 100,000 followers, you're not going to keep going, because it's never going to be enough. The fame is never going to be enough. The influence you have is never going to be enough. It's really when you get to a certain level of influence, you get used to that level of influence and you want more, and then you get frustrated even though you have 100,000, 200,000 followers. So it's a game that you should really try to stay away from. Just believe in what you're doing, like what you're doing, and be passionate about what you're doing. And that's the contagious part. People feel that energy, and that spreads way faster than trying to be influential or anything like that.
I think that's very well put there. In the end, I think I can see a master course coming up for Instagram influencers from your side. It's really refreshing to talk to you guys here today, and there's so many memories that come to mind, and I'm sure that this can become a real podcast. And we do have a few follow-up questions for everybody, but we also want to get everybody else involved, everybody listening. There's a lot of OGs and friends in the audience here today, so if you want to jump in and ask a question, or want to share some of your nostalgic Hedera experiences, how you dumped sell that 1 cent back in 2019, was it? Feel free to jump in. Want to hear from you. The question that I had, I think, was in part answered by the panelists. But I want to. This question goes out to anybody who wants to add any points. So what is your favorite part about the Hedera community?
Yeah, so for me it was, sorry, Coinman. So for me it was, yeah, it has always been, and I mean, obviously anybody would say that about their own community, I guess. It's really, I really like the, oh God, sounds really cheesy, but if I say that generally the HBAR community is a smart bunch, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people I can connect with, and that kind of understand the larger, how do you say that? The larger vision, the longer vision we're working on, right? It's not just, okay, tomorrow I'm going to make it like $10 million. No, I mean, that will be great, but generally people understand in the Hedera community that this has a lot of potential and real life application, and that allows you to build together on a more constructive way, instead of trying to create a hype and throw everything out. Now more on a constructive, longer term perspective, and that's what I really enjoy.
Yeah, I think for me, if I can jump in, is I just love how broad and diverse the community is, and I think that kind of comes from the Hashgraph technology. There's so many use cases for it. It's not like Hedera is just focused on NFTs. It's not just focused on DeFi. There's so many verticals that can be explored with Hedera. So I just love the diversity of the community, and it's just keeps me occupied day in, day out, because there's always something new. And you know, I've just loved to educate myself, and there's so many things that I've learned over the past couple of years through being involved in the community, areas I would just never have touched on in my life. So just being there, seeing what is coming through, the creativity, the entrepreneurship of people picking up the Hashgraph technology and just running with it is just fascinating to me.
No, it's beautifully said. Always something to learn, and it's just becoming more and more, isn't it? And
I think
go ahead, Tudor.
I just wanted to add that to me, it's really fascinating how the people that have been here early have really stayed, and now they're actually contributing with value to the network. So that's to me very, very encouraging to see that not only do you want to stay in, but you actually want to build. You see the potential, and you are getting hands-on involved.
Definitely. And I actually wanted to ask you guys, because we had a very exciting year, just like you mentioned earlier. Andy, maybe you can start off with how you feel about the previous year on Hedera, and what was your favorite development?
2022 was great for Hedera, despite all the craziness and mess that was going on in overall crypto industry. And a lot of times I feel like Hedera is not even in crypto industry, because things are falling apart in broader blockchain industry, and then Hedera is announcing a great council member, great application being built in Hbar Foundation too. Recently just kept announcing partnerships and new projects and new organizations coming on board, while all the FTX and Luna and all this craziness was going on the other side of the crypto land. So for Hedera specifically, it was the year of really building the strong foundation for everything else, for the real utility that's going to come this year, I believe, and next year and following years. This was the year where the Hedera network, the base layer, became much stronger. We got a couple of more governing council members. The overall idea behind how the Hedera needs to recruit council members changed, and that was very important. Right now, when the new council member joins the council, we know for sure they have already been developing applications on the network. They know exactly what they want to do with the network, and that's the reason they joined the network, rather than just joining for the sake of the name of this organization and running the node. We don't really need companies like Google to just run a node on Hedera. It's really pointless, and it doesn't bring any value to anybody. People could think that in a short period of time, name of a company like Google might create some hype, but hype never stays around, and it's going to die out. So also on the base layer, smart contracts 2.0 came out, which is a huge advancement in terms of smart contract technologies available in the market on other networks as well. And then on top of that, so the layers on top of Hedera network, community and ecosystem just blew up. We had multiple wallets continue to developing and evolving their wallets, like Hashback and Blade Wallet, bringing so many features into the wallet, so people have this Web 2 kind of experience when interacting with the network. And Hashback is just mind-blowing. Now it's almost like becoming the app store of Hedera. You can do anything right from that small, tiny, user-friendly, very easy to use wallet, and they keep making it easier and more user-friendly. And then outside of that, it was the year of DeFi. HeadStarter came out, the ideal launchpad on Hedera network. Saucer Swap, the DEX and other DEXs came out as well. A staking program with the Stater Lab came out. So many things happened in DeFi. DeFi really exploded this year, and it was zero at the beginning of the year, and now it's going up the ranks compared to all the other networks. And very soon, I won't be surprised. Very soon, we'll be in top 10, and then eventually number 1 DeFi network in the world. That's coming. NFT, NFT ecosystem is just so exciting. So many new projects, so many NFT launchpads and tools for community, for independent creators or bigger projects like 10K collections to easily mint and launch and distribute to the community and build this community. It's just been an amazing year for Hedera if you ignore all the noise from everything else in crypto ecosystem.
No, you're absolutely right. It has been a massive year. It is If you're not looking at the price, it feels like you're in your own planet, with everything that's going on. And Coinman, I know Andy hogged pretty much everything, but
Number one
what
or
was
bust,
your favorite? What about you? What was your favorite development?
For me, there was so much that went on in 2022, and it was sort of clouded out a little bit by the broader market conditions. But I'd encourage anyone here to go and check out the Hbar Balls 2022 roundup. He just summarizes what went on, and it really sort of took me aback when you look back at how much has been achieved by the network and people building on the network over the past year. Like Andy said, the DeFi explosion, NFTs blew up. I think for me, the highlight was native staking, because from virtually day one of being in the community, people have been popping in and saying, when staking? And now we can finally put that one to rest and say, yep, just connect your wallet, choose a node, and you get 6.5% annual reward rate, I think the technical term is. So yeah, staking is the big highlight for me. We're actually participating in the consensus, and yeah, I just think it will attract a lot more people in the next bull run and over the coming years.
Definitely, I think the fact that we can now, that there is staking to these people that ask that question, actually outweighs the rewards and the feeling of being part of the consensus. But yeah, no, that was a very exciting development for Hedera, and people were waiting a long time for that. What about yourself, Milan?
Yeah, so I'm glad that Andy and Coinman went before me, because they said everything that I wanted to say, so that's perfect. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But it's funny when Andy and Coinman, mention all these things, and I think, oh God, that seems like 10 years. 10 years that just happened in a year, and that's crazy stuff, right? I mean, that's why I just can't go a day without doing something with Hedera and on Hedera, because there's so much development and it goes so fast, but there's so many possibilities that makes me excited. And if so, okay, I completely second what Andy and Coinman say. So let me just give two things, personal level, what I was also very excited about. That was, one thing was that I, on personal level, I cracked the no coding part on Hedera, which I'm super excited about, because it allows what I said in my intro, just allows anybody to develop on Hedera without any coding experience. I mean, you could a lot of people here probably know about Zapier or Make.com or Maker, Automata, all those automating platforms. And it's only with Hedera that you can actually use an API and register a consensus message on Hedera consensus service, or create an NFT. So that was really, when I discovered that, then I was just 24/7. I was just building stuff on no coding, because finally, cracked the key. And the funny thing is, anybody could do that. And also funny is that it was already possible way before. Thanks to Matt Smithies, by the way, from Dofu, he created the API solution for this. And the other thing was, person was very excited about. I wasn't never very excited about games, about gaming or Web3 gaming. And when I got involved with Earthlings, oh man, that got me so excited, because all the possibilities that all the things that are possible with Hedera, that you for example, if you take a look at the airships, initially thought, okay, let's sell airships, right? You could just use an airship within the game. The fact that the game could connect with your wallet, and then read out that you have that airship is exciting, but then getting another step of excitingness is that every airship can be different And that's what we've implemented as well. So each airship has a different speed, different cargo, and and that's because every airship is unique. It's a unique digital asset. So that was just for me personally what I was, that got me very excited. Next to, of course, all the developments and seeing more participants in the Hedera ecosystem, instead of having just one or two wallets, getting more wallets, just one launch pad, you got more launch pads, and that's what really got me excited as well. Yeah.
I'm with you there, guys. It's been definitely, in my opinion at least, the biggest year for Hedera since inception. And now there's a lot of features. I think the innovation keeps going, right? I mean, it was huge when the first days of the year we got email authentication on Hashback, right? That's something that is much needed for further mainstream adoption. But as we all agree that there's a lot of exciting developments over the past year, what are you guys looking forward to seeing in 2023?
I'll go first if it's okay. When's step function? No, I think seeing the mainnet push those 3 and 4 figure TPS was really exciting a few weeks back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the enterprise use cases that have been so long in the making go live, because I think it will really prove to the naysayers that DLT has a place in the real world, and it's not just a bunch of degens betting on tokens and just doing stuff that is quite subcultural. I'm really looking forward to seeing enterprise use cases go live, and for Hedera to be seen as different from the crowd, that it actually can handle huge throughput, and there are serious businesses using it. But that's not to say that I don't also look forward to seeing the organic projects that are popping up all the time on Hedera. I love those too equally. I love seeing things like Earthlings and the NFTs, the crossover between Angry Baboons and Earthlings, and you've got Dexes getting involved, and the collaboration there. Lehman Swap are going to run banks in the Earthlings game. It's all stuff I would never have thought would be possible, but obviously there's some very creative and entrepreneurial minds in the community, and I'd love to see where that goes in the coming year.
Thanks a lot for that. Andy?
Yeah, I'll go next. I echo a lot of the things that Coinman was saying. Enterprise use cases are definitely going to be the focus in 2023. There's a lot of applications, use cases that we know about, and we've been waiting for them for a couple of years. And understandably, these are the types of use cases that are going to transform the industry completely. And those kinds of use cases cannot be deployed overnight or during 1 year, or they have to be deployed progressively, slowly over time, so they don't disrupt how enterprises were doing things completely. So the view enterprises have to crypto is not to disrupt completely everything that they were doing, but just add an additional layer so seamlessly to the stack of everything else that they were doing, so they transition smoothly. It doesn't create any problems for them. Enterprises do not want to destroy everything they have built and start from zero just because there's this new crypto industry and technology. So their perspective is very different, and they're patient, and they know it takes time, and it's not just one player deciding. For example, the ESG use case on Hedera, I hope 2023 Hedera becomes the worldwide main network that all these ESG assets are being traded on, or at least start being traded on. But for it to become the worldwide go-to network, it will take a little bit of a time. But ESG is definitely going to be one of the primary focus for enterprises, and that's going to be the gateway for enterprises to then start doing everything else on Hedera network. And there's a lot of great use cases that are coming, and I'm excited to see where they go. At the same time, I'm looking for the killer use case from the community side, from the startup side. A few applications that will break through all of the noise and become the next Facebooks and Amazons and Googles of this crypto industry, because we'll have the older generation, previous generation companies and enterprises, internet companies adopting this technology, but we need killer use cases from the native crypto industry as well. And there is no other network that can handle killer use cases. Hedera is the network, and it can be gaming, it can be micropayments, it can be CBDC, stable coins. There's so many things that can be natively be built on Hedera. And we're starting to see a lot of different applications being partnering with the HBAR Foundation and Hedera and building on Hedera, being startups. And it's great to see these startups having great visions and looking to create new categories of use cases and killer use cases, which will be built on Hedera. So and overall, just more console members, more applications, more tools on the protocol layer, more launch pads. I'm excited to see all of it this year.
Definitely.
I couldn't agree more. Sorry, Alex.
No, there's no problem. Go ahead, Tudor.
I was just going to say that I couldn't agree more that the Hedera technology the Hedera Hashgraph technology has always fascinated us with its potential, and a lot of times it feels like innovation is growing not at the pace that you expect it to, but I think that it's also very important to always remember how regulatory cautious Hedera has always went about things, and that's something definitely that sets us apart as an overall ecosystem to some of the others that are building in the DLT world. What about you, HederaDev?
Yeah, so it's I mean, obviously I second what Coinman and Andy said. I also want to add that I would really love to see in 2023 a more deeper understanding, more broader, so more people, reaching more people, and deeper understanding of the native Hedera services. For example, I mean, I personally think the Hedera consensus service is way too underrated. Maybe not underrated, but I don't see if people really understand the power of it, and that's something I would really like to see. So, just for an example, I just made these small use cases, POCs, just to show other people, what you can do. One of them is imagine you call Amazon or any other company about some conflict, and you would like to have a proof of that call, and so what I created, I bought a landline phone number in the US. It's actually a very funny number. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 69 or something like that. And so you call that number, and then a voice says, "Okay, your call is being logged on a Hedera consensus service." You can actually have the topic ID open on your on Hashscan. And then while you're listening, and voice says, "Okay, your call is locked on a Hedera consensus service under this number," you can see that your metadata of that call is hashed and logged on a Hedera consensus service. And I mean, I created that POC in a day. I mean, that was not very complicated, but the fact that you can show that to people, and then it expands their creativity. They see, but then I can make that, or I could use it for that. So people get kind of creative, and that's what I would really like to see in 2023. People understanding how the technology of those Hedera native services, how we can apply them in real life, but because then you get really the power of the community members, because anybody could just a random community member could bring that to their boss and say, hey, why don't we have this issue, we have this problem, why don't we apply Hedera for that, and then you get people that are excited about solution, intrinsic motivation, and go far and beyond to implement it in solutions that really matter, instead of having extrinsic motivation from their boss that say, you have to implement this on Hedera. And then you're like, I don't know Hedera, I know another chain. Boss, I don't want to implement this on Hedera, I don't feel like it, and it's not a good way to do. So, I think this is very, I would really like to see this happening more, that people get a broader and more deeper understanding how the services are applicable to real life challenges and situations.
It's fascinating, Milan, the amount of work that you've done in the space in such a short time, and also through mostly no code. It's probably something that a lot of people would like to learn more about, and definitely education about the different use cases of different services on Hedera should be one of the priorities from us as an ecosystem, from some of the alliances that have been put together. But we've also been joined by Manon Harmon. How are you doing today, sir? Probably another OG that has a scaringly low Hedera account ID.
Yeah, I do actually, quite low. Happy New Year, Hedera family. And thank you for having me on, allowing me to speak. We're talking about 2023 and some things that I'm looking forward to. First and foremost, I'm looking forward to Manson Lehman's new podcast of First Principles. I think that that's going to be exciting. It's always nice to hear what Lehman says. Very, very intelligent individual. If you ever have a chance to meet with him, he is absolutely one of a kind. The next thing that I'm really looking forward to, hopefully we'll see this in 2023, early 2023, is community nodes. Community nodes, I think, is going to be a major thing that we put into the marketplace. A lot of people want to say that Hedera is, centralized. Well, promises made, promises kept. Community nodes coming into the network to again show the decentralization of the network. I'm very, very hopeful that in 2023 we'll see sharding, legitimate sharding, ABFT sharding. I'm looking forward to that. And probably one of the biggest features that Lehman's working on that I'm really excited about, that will be across the board for anybody within crypto, is decentralized recovery. If we can see the beginning stages, the prototypes in 2023 of a true decentralized recovery, really excited to see that in 2023. But Happy New Year to everyone. Those are just a few of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing in 2023.
Happy New Year indeed. Definitely some awesome points there. I think it's the continuous decentralization of the network is something that we definitely are all looking forward to, especially the builders like us in the space. But yeah, we all agree that in order for crypto or any blockchain DLT solution to have mainstream adoption, we need to make it not scary for people to interact with the underlying protocol. So definitely great points there. Thank you for joining us. And I know I'm very cautious about coming up to the top of the hour, and we could go on and geek out on this for hours, and I'm really actually frustrated that we are looking to close the spaces. We should probably have a follow-up pretty soon because the conversation has been very engaging. But I know, Alexi, that we wanted to squeeze the panelists for some alpha.
That's right. That's absolutely right. As everyone here is very involved in the community and interacting with projects, building in the space, we were wondering if you guys had any alpha to share with us before having to go?
Well, I'll say this: I don't like to betray confidences, so I don't leak any alpha unless it's been ticked off. But if you follow my Twitter account, I always try and post stuff as quick as I can. As soon as I hear about it, I've always got my ear to the ground on the various channels. So follow my Twitter account, and I try and post the latest news as quick as possible. So not really any alpha there, but just a little plug there.
Just a little tease. Definitely go give Coinman a follow. Milan?
Yeah, so I'm the worst in giving alpha. My mouth is always like tightly knit, and then I hear people talking the same alpha that I promised not to share. So I'm the worst at that. But I don't know. I can say something about my own thing. I'm trying to create some kind of no coding platform that allows anybody just to to start picking up no coding. So very low barrier development on Hedera. I don't know if that's really alpha, but otherwise than that, I'm not very helpful in that, I think.
Definitely, I will take it. And if anything else comes to you, feel free to share.
We'll do that.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah. I don't think I have any alpha information.
Alrighty, that's that then, everybody. Take care.
No, I just wanted to touch to what Manan said. I'm really happy that he brought up those 2 points: community nodes and Durek coming to Hedera next year. Those are going to be so important. First, the community nodes is going to be completely change people's perception what Hedera is, because Hedera since day one was saying we have a path to decentralization. Just be patient. Decentralization is not easy. And if you look at other networks over time, they become more centralized because there is no controlled energy right from the inception of the network to make sure that it decentralizes organically and grows. And then at some point you can let go that control, but it's very important to have that control initially. But these community nodes are going to change people's perception, and even more people are going to rush to Hedera network. And Durek is just going to be game changing. I hope more people learn about it and we get that functionality very soon. In regards to alpha, there is actually one alpha related to what I am building, but I cannot talk about it today. I just can say it's related to Citadel wallet, the hardware wallet that I'm building, and I've been building last 6 months. And actually it was an idea long before that. I always thought about it, similar to what Dr. Baird is saying. He kept thinking about the Hashgraph consensus, put it off, couldn't find the solution. It was a very similar situation. I kept thinking about the hardware wallet, how I should build it, what components should I use it, when should I build it, and it eventually, mostly because of working with HeadStarter, Tudor was nice enough to add me to the bring me to the HeadStarter team. I started working there, helping the team to grow and build the Launchpad, and eventually gained enough confidence to actually say, oh, this is the time I need to start building this wallet. And I'm really happy to say that we have really exciting news coming and some alpha coming. I have the wallet prototype actually sitting right next to me right now, and I just look at it every day, get excited. I can't wait to share it with the HBarbarians. It's going to be a Hedera focused hardware wallet. It's going to support all of Hedera services. No more begging this kind of spoiled hardware wallet companies to add a simple token service or simple staking service. This is going to support all Hedera services. And then after that, we'll decide with the community. I have some ideas. Community will help the project to decide what other features and what other networks to support. But it's going to be Hedera focused right from the beginning. It's few months away from being complete, at least the first initial working prototype. And I can't wait to share more news with the community. and wait, look out for teasers coming shortly.
Very
I feel
excited
like,
for that.
I feel like Manon needs to spill the beans a bit. I think he's dropping alpha in secret because you mentioned you mentioned sharding there, Manon, and that gets me really excited because in my mind, sharding only comes when the network needs the sharding, and the TPS is so high that we need to branch out to new shards. So I don't know if you're dropping alpha there or not, but I'm gonna believe you are.
Nice. Yes. Spill the beans.
2023 will be a long year, so let's see.
I think that's a yes.
Oh yeah, that's great. And actually, Andy, I was hoping that you would say something about Citadel Wallet. Really great to hear. I mean, I think we can consider that as alpha. I mean, obviously, I had something else. I thought, okay, that's not really alpha regarding to Earthlings, but maybe a fun fact. I've been a beekeeper for 10 plus years, queen rearer, and so on. Anything you see related to bees within the Earthlings ecosystem, that's basically my fault. So the airship, the bee airship, the bee rider, the bee pin, that's all that's my really influential power.
That's awesome. That's a nice Easter egg.
We all should know how important the bees are to our ecosystem. So definitely appreciate you there, Milan. Well, it's been a fascinating talk here today, and I wish we could go on for a lot longer. Probably we should book for a follow-up spaces that takes a couple hours. But I do want to appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining Coinman, Hbar to the Moon, HederaDev. We've been talking about the fascinating world of Hedera, some nostalgic memories, and how excited we all continue to be for the future of the community. It was great to be joined by Manon. It was great to see everybody coming in such high numbers to listen to these legends of the space. We all are looking forward to seeing the projects that they are involved in to become successful, knowing how much Hedera has become a part of their lives and their persona. We all know that whatever they build comes from a great place. So make sure that you stay tuned. We might have some alpha ourselves dropping on Tuesday with the HeadStarter Pulse AMA. And this Spaces was recorded, will soon be up on our YouTube channel, where you can see the last episode that we had with Rescue and Elia Tech talking about crypto in charity. We please give Coinman, Hbar to the Moon, and HederaDev some love on their socials. We do appreciate you all for joining us here today for this homage that we do to the Hedera community, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. It's been fantastic.
Thanks
you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
It was great. Thanks.
Have a great year.
Bye guys.
Bye-bye.